Hello. Goedemiddag. Happy to be here. I will do my presentation in English because I prepared it in English. Sorry. I hope you'll understand. If you have questions, I can also answer them in German for sure. My name is Uwe Milcha. I'm Vice President of the EPDA. I'm package designer myself, working for a big agency. We're working for international brands around the globe. Sustainable structural packaging is our topic. But today I would like to, talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, about AI. So first question, who of you knows something about AI? So who's like in the picture a little bit already? Okay. And who of you is an expert in AI? That's good news, because, I'm also, well-oriented, but not the super expert. And who is already using AI in their daily business? Okay, the youngest guy raises his hand. That's good news. You're our future. Very well, very good. Yeah, first of all, I would like to briefly introduce my association. I'm talking on behalf of EPDA, that's the European Brand and Packaging Design Association. We have 60 members across Europe and beyond. And we're fostering the dialogue all along the value chain. So we're also talking to these people who are exposing their great products here at Fachpark. We're talking to brand owners. Hello Ulrike, good to see you here. So all along the value chain, we're talking to consumers as well. And we have conferences 2 times a year. That's just about us. And I'm also talking for our members. I have some cases for you that show what our members are doing. But first of all, I would like to show a dead body to you. Generally, my presentation is has 3 sections. I would like first talk about self-driving cars, because we can learn a lot from this topic also for our eye processes in packaging. Secondly, I would like to talk AI as a trend. Is it a trend? I don't think so. It's something which will last longer than a trend. And last but not least, I'll give you some ideas on how to use it in your daily business, depending on what you're into. Here's the dead body I promised you. I have it with me. The older from the audience know this guy. Well, today, it's dead. It started in the 1920s, where a road atlas from Shell has been published. And today we have systems replacing this guy. So it's not printed anymore since 2008. They stopped producing these road maps at Shell, or at the company. Yeah, but what replaced that? In former days, we all had to use this roadmap to get from one place to the other. So if you're in Nuremberg, it's easy to go to Fürth or to Erlangen. If you have to go to, for example, Ingolstadt, you have to turn pages and find another thing. So that's all gone, luckily. And in the future, maybe not 100% yet, but in the future, AI is even helping us more to get these technical assistance systems running. So, self-driving cars, it's something that's in process. Already in 1920s, 1925, there were first experiments with self-driving cars. So there were radio-controlled cars bringing people from A to B, but that was just the very beginning. And in the 50s, as you can see here, or in the 70s, we all had the dream that one day we'll sit in a car with no driver and it takes us from A to B. Then in the 2000s, that's basically the time where this roadmap was published. There were experiments in Korea where people sitting in the back of the car and it drove somewhere, but not really in the right direction. Today, we're really further in this process, and I'll tell you a little story. In 2016, I was invited to Washington, and the first self-driving minibus was introduced by a company called Local Motors. That's the CEO of Local Motors, Jay Rogers. And and there were all the senators were invited, and everybody wanted to see this self-driving bus. But the problem was, it didn't work. It simply didn't work. In the test runs, it worked quite okay, but then when the guests came, it didn't do what it should have been done. And well, they did a simple trick. They took a controller from a PlayStation, and one was sitting with the controller underneath his pullover, and was, honestly, he was like steering the bus, and everybody thought it's self-driving. And that's a little bit like a picture which we could have in our back head if we're talking about AI and the use of AI, because many things are still in, well, beta version, well, on their way, and so on, not really ready yet. But it shows, this self-driving car example shows how this all, well, came together. Because before they started to build, well, self-driving units, there were like all these assistants coming in step by step over the years. We all know this back camera came one day, the lane keep assistant is in nearly every car, we have blind spot monitoring, park assistance, voice recording systems, and then it comes to the more like advanced systems, like the navigation system, and also vehicle to everything communication. And nowadays, cars can already, in the US, for example, where Tesla and other companies are running 2,000 cars in Phoenix, Arizona, where the cars talk to the traffic lights. And when the traffic light is red, you would normally like slow down your car to stop, but they communicate with the traffic light, and they already know it will be green in a couple of seconds, so they continue driving, and when they're there, it turns to green. That's already happening, and there are many processes in these cars and in the devices connected to the cars that make all this happen. Well, again, we're not there. But it's an interesting, and there are pros and cons. I mean, looking at the pros, many things are technical possible in China. In Phoenix, Arizona, these tests are running. Different systems. VW, for example, they have 11 laser cameras, 7 radars, 14 cameras in their cars, whilst Tesla is running a different strategy. They only have 8 cameras, no radar systems, no nothing. They say, if we can drive a car with 2 cameras, well, then 8 cameras should be enough to make this car driving, and with the software behind, it works. And what is also interesting, they used to learn from the data the cameras gathered. Today, AI enables the systems and the software to learn from videos. So they put millions of dashboard videos from cars into the systems, and they see, the technology sees all kinds of situations that can happen. And they detect that in a similar way as Volker showed us in his presentation, where the cameras detect plastic or all kinds of waste and know exactly what it is, how thick it is, how much it weighs, and so on. And they turn the data into valuable information so that it can be used for conducting the self-driving cars in the future. There are many pros for these self-driving cars. Imagine if you have a robo-taxi, you can sleep, you can read, you can work whilst the car is taking you. Also in rural areas, it's easy to get from A to B. If you have children, you can send them, they are safe, you can send them to their volleyball teams and so on, or even visual impaired people can use the cars without any problem. So there are many positive things, but also some negatives. There is a fear that accidents can happen, but this is also proved. I mean, there are by far less accidents with self-driving cars than with human-driven cars, because 90% of all accidents are caused by human failures, and we can, avoid these failures if we have the right software behind. So let's go on. We've seen a lot about these self-driving cars. As said, In California, there are already, well, there's still somebody in assist the system, but they are on the streets. In San Francisco, I've been there. Mercedes is quite a forerunner of these technologies, although you would think it's more a Tesla or other companies, but they're really very far with their technology. The question we all have is, will AI replace human intelligence? And I found this great quote: generative AI will not replace people, but the people who use it will be replaced by those who won't. And I think this is very important for all of us. We have to start looking into these processes. We have to at least be informed. We don't need to use all this. It will come anyway. If you use Microsoft products, if you use Photoshop, it's already there. It's embedded and it's running as a co-pilot. So you are still the pilot, but it helps you doing your processes more efficient, more effective, and faster, for sure. And yes, there are mistakes. I'll come to that later. But it's a technology that won't go away. It will become bigger and bigger. Just these days, I think 3 days ago, this new term came up, IA. So the other way around, not AI, but IA. What does it mean? It's the intelligence age. Sam Altman wrote a fantastic article about superintelligence with quantum computers, what to expect in the future. I can just encourage you to read this piece of article. It's the CEO of OpenAI. We know OpenAI from ChatGPT, which is a product of OpenAI. And I've brought together some concrete examples of how my colleagues from the packaging design business are using AI today. It's not only about generating images, that's the majority of cases we have, but it's also some other intelligent functions that we can use. I've been to the IFA 2 weeks ago. AI is the dominant topic of the whole trade show. So that was Samsung. They created a whole AI experience area with IoT washing machines connected to your smartphone, talking to other household devices, and so on. So it is a big thing. And for our packaging business, there are 6 important topics I would like to address. So we can do design optimization, because the AI can analyze consumer preferences, market trends, and creating appealing and functional packaging designs. We'll see that later. Quality control, that's something which was also strived by Volker in his presentation. The machines you see, they are all they can detect quality, but also on our computers we can detect quality, and we can use it for inspection of packaging materials and finished products. Then we have the supply chain efficiency. We have to be a little bit careful, because on the one hand side, there is, automation, which does not necessarily mean AI-driven. On the other hand, it's on top of the automation, it's AI, where the machine is self-learning and takes, information from the experience after a series of things happening and incorporates it into the system, sometimes even without you recognizing it or knowing it. Then we have personalization. That's also a fantastic trend in packaging. You know that the digital printing stuff, we can tailor solutions, designs to consumers, messaging based on consumer data, and so on. Cost reduction is an issue. If you can automate routines, I don't need to tell you that. The processes become cheaper, reduce costs associated with labor, material waste, and production inefficiencies. And last but not least, but I don't say anything about that because Volker really covered the topic in a very, very good manner. Sustainability will benefit from AI processes. Here's an example from the packaging school. You can look it up. I put here the links for you. AI can help us, can inspire us, can help us to find new solutions for our packages. If this makes sense or not, that's a different question there. It needs lucky enough, it needs us, the experts. It needs you, the people who can make this happen. But it's cool inspiration we can get, and maybe if we transform it with our human knowledge, with our empathy, with our long experience, then it can turn into something which is really feasible and not only a nice picture. You can get many, many nice pictures with tools like Photor or with Midjourney or with the Adobe equivalent. So many, many good ideas can be done in seconds. You get like 15, 20, 100 ideas just with a click, but it's still us like making this feasible and the production possible. Here, this tool with DALL-E, you can choose which kind of package you're looking into, and then it creates, maybe even with your pictures you put in or with the colors you want, it creates beautiful ideas on how that could look. I brought one example from another member and a friend. That's this rum bottle. The bottle itself is created in a conventional way, but he's the one with his brand, Copper and Brave. They're doing storytelling spirits. So they see themselves as the Netflix of spirits. And this, for example, this room is Circus Black called, and it's about a panopticon with crazy people in the show. So, for example, you have the 99-year-old Siamese twins, you have the transparent lady. We know this from early days when on ferry grounds these tents pop up, and they created the whole story, and the pictures were AI generated. They had to do a little bit with it, but the basis came from AI by telling the AI what exactly they expect to get. And it's not only, the bottle. If you buy this bottle and it tastes super, you also get a map with all these letters. It's a whole story. If you read through it, you get the whole idea of this Circus Black. Another example is from Viktor Konowalow from Poland, from Dragon Rouge, great packaging agency. He's very much into these technologies, AI-driven, generative AI-driven picture generation. So he did a test starting with the first beta version of Midjourney, and he always put the same prompt into it. So it's a beautiful young woman with light pink hair, red matte lips, and so on and so on. He wants it to have, intimate, revealing in a Victoria's Secret style, and so on. Hyperrealism, photorealism, and the outcome was back in 2022. It was this. So quite artificial, and it became better and better and better and better. And now this is the last result he's shown to us. It's the imperfect perfection. So the AI adopts, things from our human faces and our human beings, which are not so perfect as if you could, create your puppet-like vision. And I think this is quite impressive how far these machines already are, and how we can work with it. Here you can see it in another example, food examples, which you can also use for packaging. So there are mistakes happening. You can see here, the one lady has 3 legs, top left, or sometimes it just merges things into each other, really crazy things happening. But it needs our human intelligence to avoid this and give the right information to the machine at the interface that these things do not happen. Creality, another EPDA member, has a portal. It's also kind of a workshop, creativity. So you can learn how to deal with these things. He creates packages, gives prompts, and the results are quite surprising. But here you can see quite clearly the first part of his prompt what he puts into the machine, into, in this case, Midjourney, well, that's quite something we all can do. But if it comes to how he really wants to have this picture, he needs knowledge, like a photographer, how the blend should be, the speed of the shutter. So it's like a conventional camera. He needs to tell the system what he wants, and then you can get these wonderful examples. And that's also my message to you. We have to learn how to work with these systems, then we can get fantastic results. Another friend, Tim Getzleichter, he's from Win Creatives in Berlin. He's doing a job for Migros, and they had to tackle 600 products in 3 categories. And they found a system, they trained their AI to work with the brand assets, to work with the picture, well, the taste, like the aesthetics that this brand needs. With this training and with their closed, AI, with this generator, they can create thousands of pictures for these Migros products. And they're using it to put it directly into the layout. They're using it as inspiration. They use it as shooting masks. And the result is, well, looks like it's done by conventional photography, but it's not. And it's by far faster, and they get, well, more choices for these products. Sometimes strange things happen. One guy prompted, create a beautiful emotional picture of an eggplant. We know eggplants look like that. And what he got was this. So sometimes it's a misunderstanding between the machine and us humans. Another example, I have it here. That's the first ever launched soft drink created by an AI. So the recipe was created by AI, the name, and also the graphics. And I can give it a taste. Let me see. I didn't open one of those before. Not good. Yeah. Well, okay, they have to work on the recipe. Sometimes humans are better in creating those things than machines, I assume. Well, nevertheless, it's interesting what Migros and Vivi Cola came up with for their product. Vivinova. It's also not the most creative name from my point of view, but well, it is like it is. And there are many social media coverages. You can read about it, what people said about it. Well, however, in my company Touch, we're also experimenting with AI, and we're in process of building a chatbot, a system that answers all your questions around sustainability. So if you, for example, want to recycle a, let's say, beverage carton, compound material in the Netherlands, you know the latest regulations from the legal mandatory information. And our system will grab from reliable sources the relevant information, but not only that, it will tailor it to the one who asks. So if you, like Ulrike, is a brand owner and is like in production, then she'll get an answer like you, for example. I don't know what you're doing in business, but maybe you're in production involved somehow. You need other information than Ulrike. And so if you identify yourself as being a project manager or an R&D specialist or somebody who is running the machines at the factory, you get different informations, and you can share that with your team. It's for us very important that we work together along the value chain, and that will happen with this system. It'll be embedded in our innovation database called Vault. If you want to look it up, Vault by Touch. And it'll come early next year. It'll be online, and you can use it, and you can see how good these systems are if you have your data correct and go to the right sources. Well, next steps. I like this quote a lot. What is AI? They are, above all, thinking machines. They acquire detailed knowledge of high quality and their capability in specialized disciplines from already existing specialized sources. And if you want to use AI for your project, then you have to do your homework. Your data needs to be correct. And that's a problem many companies have. In recent studies, you see people, well, at least claiming that 80% of companies say they are using AI, but 20% are not really happy with what AI can do for them. And that's not only because the AI is not working well, but also because they don't have good data sources for the machine to work with. It's a stupid. The machine itself is as stupid as your most stupid intern, let's say it this way. But if you train it the right way, it's the same. I mean, if you work with humans, if you have an intern, you need to tell him or her what your company is doing, what the context is, what the product is, how it is sold, well, all these things. And the same goes for your assistant, your co-pilot in this respect. The last slides, because I'm right, I think my time is over, is another image from IFA. Also on a hardware base, things are moving fast. That's a transparent OLED screen built into kind of an aquarium. And it's amazing if you stand in front of that and see what's already, well, existing. Yeah, what can we do? Just some simple, recommendations. Listen and learn. Look into it, what's there. Look at podcasts, listen to podcasts, look at video casts, read white papers, define your prerequisites for your own business, do your homework. You have to evaluate, use, and archive your data the right way. You have to get your sources right, set up and use your own GPTs, not only the ones which are, well, open. Skillfully link AI to your applications. Ask experts to support you and create a strategy. Strategy is also very important. What is the goal of your company and how can AI help you? And don't worry. If you're interested, there is a great podcast or videocast from Evelio Matos, another friend. It's not the one where I appear, but it's about AI and packaging and how you can use it. Really interesting. And last but not least, I found this and I like it a lot. If you slap AI on crap, you get crap, but just faster. Okay, last story. There was this journalist in the US who was at a self-service kiosk, bought a sandwich, and then, well, it was a robot serving the sandwich, and at the end of the process, he was asked to give a tip. He said, whom do I tip? Do I tip a machine? Do I tip myself? It's a self-service kiosk, so that's really ridiculous, but, well, we're in a process. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that was a little bit of inspiration for you from our design perspective. And if you have questions, I will be there. Or do we have time for questions?
We take time. Dankeschön, Uwe Millicher, für die lebendige Reise durch das, was KI im grafischen Design macht. Danke für die Beispiele, die du mitgebracht hast. Danke, dass du uns hast nicht probieren lassen. Fragen. Jetzt dürfen Sie fragen. Wir würden uns über Fragen freuen. Uwe, du hast gesagt, der Pilot sind wir,
Right?
aber wir nutzen es. Sind wir irgendwann so, dass wir nur noch in Selbstbedienungsläden gehen und suchen uns sowieso alles individuell aus?
Yeah, it already happens. I mean, yesterday. Achso, wir können auch Deutsch sprechen. Möchtest du Deutsch sprechen? Ich glaube nicht, dass das der Fall sein wird. Wir werden weiterhin Beratung brauchen, sonst wäre der Onlinehandel ja nur noch ausschließlich da. Wir wollen ja Inspiration, wir wollen Beratung. Wir brauchen Beratung in manchen Fällen. Und ich glaube, das wird noch sehr lange dauern, bis da die AI ein Level erreicht hat, der uns als Menschen zufriedenstellt. Denn der interaktive Austausch zwischen uns ist ja auch etwas. Und wie gesagt, die Empathie, die kann eben so eine Maschine bislang noch nicht ersetzen. Das sieht man auch an Pflegerobotern. Ich habe da mal einen interessanten Beitrag gesehen, wie alte Menschen dann in einer entsprechenden Einrichtung mit den Geräten agieren. Die haben einfach mehr Aufmerksamkeit, das ist gut, aber die Aufmerksamkeit war einfach noch lange nicht auf dem Level, wie sie einander aufbringen können. Genau.
Ist zurzeit die Kreativität, fördert die KI am besten die Kreativität oder beschleunigt es die Arbeit?
Beides.
Beides.
Ja, beides würde ich sagen, wenn man es richtig nutzt.
Dann wollen wir lernen, es zu nutzen. Gibt es eine Frage? Dann möchten wir die gerne hören oder darauf eingehen. Mit Applaus verabschieden wir dich, Uwe Melicher von der PDA.